Welcome to yet another episode. We are diving into the topic of the month, which is adding value. We have said it time and time and time again. Adding value is how we create our professional success in our careers, right? And why does professional success matter? I mean, hello, we know because we're career women, we know that we want to be successful in our careers. When we perform professionally, we then give ourselves permission to have that personal freedom that we absolutely want and quite frankly, we deserve. Okay. So let's get this success going, right? Let's ensure that we have the professional success. And the way that we do that is we add value. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. It's really important. Answer it within yourself. You can even answer it out loud. Some people might think you're crazy depending upon where you are, but I'll leave that to you. Did you do the work from last week? Did you listen to last week's episode and have you done the work? If the answer is no, I'm going to challenge you to pause me. I want you to go back and either listen to the episode if you didn't hear it or do the work if you just didn't get around to it. You meant to, but you haven't done it yet. And the reason why is because today's episode is going to build on the work that you did last week. Now, what did you do last week? You did the self-assessment and you got some feedback on how you're performing and how you're actually adding value. Okay. This week, we're going to get some work done. I'm going to spend a lot less time talking. You're going to go spend some time doing. And I know that you appreciate that because if you're anything like me, and I believe that you are, sometimes we just want to get the work done. We want to learn a little bit and we want to go do, right? It's sort of like we want to read the directions while we're putting the chair or the table or the kid's toy or whatever it is together, because we want to move forward. And we believe that the way to do that is to listen, learn, and apply at the same time. So let's go apply some things today. What do you say? Let's do that. All right. So what are we applying? What are we doing? We're going to take the three components that we consistently have talked about all this month that the organization provides to us. Those three components, right? What are they? It's your job description, your annual performance review. Maybe your company does it more often. Whatever your performance review is, right? You're going to take that documentation and the targets for your annual bonus. You're going to look at those things and you're going to take that list. You're going to take that list and look at it and look at your calendar. And you're going to see how many of those things that are on those three components that the organization has provided to you, how many of those bullet pointed action items are actually on your calendar. In other words, how are you scheduling time to do those actions on a regular, consistent basis? Now, we've looked in the mirror and we've said, yes, I'm doing this work. We've had someone come back and tell us how well we're doing the work. Now we're going to go next level and say, how much time am I spending a week at a time? How much time am I spending actually doing the work that the company says is valuable to it? This is as black and white and as straight up, straightforward as we can get. And what are you going to find? You're going to find that either you're spending very little time doing these things, you're going to find that you're spending a lot of time doing these things, or you're going to find a mixture. And usually in working with women, I find that it's a mixture. And it's a mixture of doing things out of fear, right? We're doing things that we want to do that make us feel valuable, but that really aren't valued by the organization. And those are time wasters. We can get rid of some of those things, right? And there's a way to do that. There are things that are on our calendar that we've taken on because no one else will. And we simply need to find a way to delegate those things. Okay. We also have some things on our calendar that we're doing because no one else will do, but we actually enjoy doing those things. Maybe it's some volunteer work. Maybe it's some things inside of the organization, but it's a committee or it's some other things that help the employees and the team, but it's not part of those three components. And what I would tell you, if you're finding that that's on your calendars, that's perfectly fine, but it absolutely cannot be the majority of your time. And it cannot be done in a way that does not allow you to also add value as your primary function. Okay. If the two things are competing, the volunteer work, the non-value add versus the value add has to be done. Okay. We have to contribute value to the organization. And there's a balance that we have to find there. But ultimately, we've got to look at our calendar and understand how much time are we spending on the things that the company has clearly defined as value adds for us that we must do. How do we add more of that into our calendar if we're not adding enough? If there are components that are missing, how do we add those in? How do we make sure that we're spending the right amount of time doing the right things? And how do we eliminate time wasters and things that really don't need to be on our calendar, but that we're doing because either we enjoy doing them or it's coming from a place of fear or a combination of all of the above? How do we maximize our time? How do we take the time and the calendar and the events and the meetings? How do we take all of those things and how do we look at it versus the list of the action items the company's asking us to do? Because it's saying, hey, hello, this is what you've got to do to add value. This is how you create professional success. Do these things. How do we look at our calendar and say, am I doing those things or not? That is what you're doing this week. And then you've got to make some changes because of it. What are the changes? Well, you either keep doing what you're doing, adding a few things here or there, right? You keep, you add, or you remove. Maybe you do a combination of all the three. Typically, it's a combination of all three. But that is your focus this week, okay? If you're not sure how to get started, if you don't know if you're taking the right steps, if you just want someone else to take a look at it, hit the link in this episode, let me know, and let's schedule some time to chat through it. That's what I'm here for, okay? But either way, make sure that what you're spending your time on is valuable to the organization. And the way that you do that is you just look at your calendar and say, how am I actually spending my time? It's the clearest way to make sure that you're adding the highest level of value. Okay? So go do that this week. I look forward to connecting with you next week as always. And please go and be legendary.